So knowing our feelings is key to having the kind of life we want, relationships we want, to directing the path we go, to being the kind of dad we want, husband we want, friend. Yeah, really, really key thing to get to have right. And I think not talked well about. My experience is Melanie and I, when we were first dating, something came up. We were in her apartment. I remember sitting there, and I don't even know what she said or what it was, but I remember she looked at me and she said, "Are you angry?" I said, "No, I'm not. I'm not angry." She said, "It looks like you're angry." I said, "No, I'm not angry." And as I thought about it for the next 30 minutes, I realized, yeah, she's right. I was angry. I was so out of touch with what I was feeling. She could see it on me better than I could see it in myself. So it's a muscle to be worked. I've worked on it probably for 20 years since that story of that time in her apartment before we got married. Anyhow, so feelings, I'd say in general, it's seen many times as either being this is all good or all bad type of thing, whether it be in the church or Christian community or just in the culture in general. It's, in movies, it's, follow your heart and just let your feelings guide you, which I think is incorrect. And on the other end of the spectrum, I think more some of the older generations and what I picked up on growing up is don't show your feelings. Feelings are bad. They're a sign of weakness. And I think the power for having the kind of life we want lies in between. When we can master our emotions and understand them, I think that it goes a lot better. It's kind of like when we have our car, we drive our car, we're listening always for sounds, rattles, hums, things that shouldn't be right. We know what the car sounds like, our car sounds like, it should sound like. Lights, smoke, things flashing in the dashboard, just information. I'm always aware of my cars. I know them well, and I'm looking for those signs. Now, the signs don't just lead me down the road or just, drag me in a certain direction. I'm the driver, so I choose what to do with those signs or those warning lights, but we need to know what they are. I say the same thing with feelings. Feelings give us a good indicator, their information about what to do with things. How do we respond to stuff? What's going on? So even just tuning in with myself, not even related to another person. So I'd say I relate to a car. Very important to just know those indicators. What's our dashboard of our life saying? And then we can make conscious choices. I think otherwise we tend to be ruled by our emotions. We tend to be swept away unknowingly and be hyper compassionate. That's a lot happening, I'd say, these days more than anything. Maybe 50 years ago, it was the opposite. We shut them down, and what would happen? Well, they're still there. They're not dealt with because if we're not aware or attend to it, they just swell up and then they explode in certain ways, and then that goes badly too. So those extremes just don't work well. So attending to them is really, I'd say, the key to them, and really then making choices based upon how we're feeling and what we're doing. So looking at these as a tool, so I'll pull up a couple of charts, a couple of fun ones. There's a superhero one and a Lego one. I love Legos playing as a kid, and I love superheroes is one of my favorite shows. Just showing the emotions here of the superheroes. Just even just a quick thing during the day. Hey, what's going on right now? What's going on inside me? It's amazing how that just gives a peace. Understanding what's going on, why I'm reacting a certain way in a situation. If I even just step away from something for a few seconds, it's a really helpful tool. Bible speaks to it too. 3 verses, Proverbs 29:11. A fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man holds back. And just talking about, hey, holding back and just not just venting stuff, but really holding back, considering things and how we want to respond in a certain situation. But we have to be aware of it. Have to be aware of it. We can't. It's a muscle to be worked to figure out what we're feeling and then choosing how to respond. Proverbs 4:23. Keep your heart with all vigilance, for from it flows the springs of life. Yeah, we don't want to just walk into situations foolishly, and take care of our heart, take care of ourselves, not just maybe be undergiving or overgiving, or say yes all the time or no all the time, and to really be aware of our heart. Third one, 2 Timothy 1:7, for God gave us a spirit, God gives us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. Yeah, once again, if we're aware that we're scared or have fear, we can choose and have self-control and power and choice there. And I think all three of those speak to not ignoring feelings, not being swept away by them, but somewhere in between saying, hey, like David, be aware of them, and then make choices in our lives based around those. So anyhow, I put up some pictures of feelings, and I think being aware of it is a really critical tool for life. It's been for me. It's been a muscle I've learned to work over the past 20 years, and just helps me to get more life that I want. So as a dad, as a husband, and whatnot. So anyhow, hope you found this helpful, and give me a thumbs up or subscribe if you're liking it, or send it on to somebody else. Thanks.